Meeting, Maryland Environmental Service, May 28th, 2026. And we do have a quorum at present time, so we are going to go ahead and get started. First item on the agenda is SB and Company, the FY26 audit plan. SB has not joined us yet. They will be joining us shortly, so we're going to move ahead to the next items on the agenda. We have approval of the minutes from our April 30th, 2026 meeting. Those draft minutes were distributed. Are there any comments or recommendations for amendments? And hearing none, we can assume that they are approved by consent. Executive Director's report. Good morning, Dr. Glass.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Hello from Salt Lake City, Utah. At the Youth National Championships, my son made the top championship bracket with his team, and I'll be out here for a few days, but I'm still at the meeting. Although somehow I messed up and I can't see the slides. Let me see. Is it the gallery? Nope. Who's great with this? All right. Well, next slide.
Usually it is, it's different in Zoom. So what view are you in?
Well, now I'm looking at everybody as a panel.
At the very top are some tabs. You should have a meeting tab.
I got the meeting tab.
Click that.
Yeah.
And right now it's probably just showing you.
Well, all right. Now it's showing you speaker. It's showing the speaker gallery, dynamic gallery.
So you just need to switch to Pam Fuller's screen. So there are those tabs on the top. If you go to Pam Fuller's screen, you should see the slides.
And now I don't see her. All right. Well, you know what? I don't need to see the slides. I have a copy here with me. So I'm going to just, we're on my expenses slide, Ms. Fuller, correct?
Yep. Yes, we are.
All right. So we had no expenses. Neither me or the deputy. I do want you to know that our conference season is starting. In June, we'll be at Maryland Municipal League. July is a skip, but then in August, we'll be at Mako and Tricon. And then I'll wrap up and go to WEFTEC in late September. Next slide. So for me, the highlight of the month that I did not really list is that the Deputy Chief of Staff, Miss Chi Naiga Nash, asked that I present the story of MES in the top workplaces and how it came about. And so I put together a slide deck. It was a robust conversation, Secretary Flora can attest. And I explained how the process over the last 5 years and how we use surveys to try to make us better, as well as see how we rank against other organizations. So it was well received, and I was honored to be invited to give that presentation. The other highlight of this is, if this is still in the external engagement, MEDCO. MEDCO is putting together, MEDCO is the Maryland Economic Development Corporation, and they're putting together a large public-private partnership universe, I'd say. It's not clearly not just environmental, but they did include environmental and energy. And so our good friends at the Maryland Clean Energy Center asked if I would join, Kathy asked if I would join her in talking to the director and expressing that, we have experience working on public-private partnerships in the environmental space, and that we also have an energy purview, and we'd love to partner if anything large gets put together. Next slide. I don't know if the private entities, yeah, they're separate. On the private entities, I'd just like to highlight, we had a big presentation by Workday, a full day presentation on how they are utilizing AI to enhance the product. And IT and finance and HR will continue to engage with them over the coming months to see how we can subscribe to agents that they use to help us get better. And I also, on a more environmental side, the Irvine Natural Science Center which is in Baltimore County and has a large property and does a lot of conservation work. I met with the business development director there, and we had a nice conversation about how, if things align, MES might be able to help them with their property, and also we could do some joint education projects, et cetera. So more to come from that. Next slide. Now I've got a mix up because I got the draft. Are we on my strategic advance and all team slide?
You're
No?
on my engagement slide.
Oh, I'm sorry. Deputies engagements, please. Present your engagements.
All right. I'm going to take the bundle and save approach today. The Maryland Department of Natural Resources, the governor's office, and the comptroller's office. We met to discuss the support that MES provided to Department of Natural Resources. We played a minor role in doing some reviews and to provide some subject matter expertise. Shout out to the environmental operations team, Mr. Tim Ford, Jeffrey Landis, and Chuck Ingram. And the support they provided in terms of subject matter expertise helped them to get to a resolution which provided support for a BPW approval on May 20th to move towards re-signing the lease for Days Cove landfill. So that was my government sector highlights. And the engagement with private entities was also very helpful. The 3 private entities listed there all gave a presentation to myself and our water resources group primarily, and we discussed options to use nature-based solutions for tertiary treatment for wastewater treatment plants and water treatment. So it was a great presentation and exciting thoughts on maybe ways that we can reimagine tertiary treatment for some of our smaller systems in Maryland. That's it for me.
Excellent. Next slide. So in May, we had both a all teams meeting and a strategic advance. And in response to the survey this spring, I really wanted to focus on alignment, accountability, and intentional growth, and how the 4% growth rate relates to what we do every year. As the executive director, I underscored my responsibility for financial sustainability, performance, compliance, and long-term relevance, while highlighting that revenue growth must be deliberately planned and managed. So central to the presentation was the 4% labor revenue growth goal. There might have been a growth goal that Mr. Patel had and finance had prior to this strategic plan that we're wrapping up. However, it was never intentional, as it's been stated in our strategic plan that we've lived under. So I really wanted to repeat that that's been in line to a certain degree with cost of living, and that it directly relates to our performance-based compensation, so that it's a goal, but it helps us also maintain a well-compensated team, a properly compensated team that's matching the growing cost of living. The second half focus on leadership expectations, organizational culture, and staff engagement. So I'm working on putting the entire ecosystem of things we do to improve, and how that performance improvement is coupled with communication, so that no staff member at MES feels as though they cannot get to me. They can't express themselves. We've got our whistleblower, contact HR, contact EEO, contact safety and environmental compliance side. We've got our surveys, 2 surveys annually, one of which we try to make goals connected to. We have the BEST program. So I'm going to have this in a more cogent presentation for the board soon, but it's really trying to have an organization that everyone can feel a part of and everyone can feel as though they contribute, and that we have these goals to just try to get better and find solutions, so that we serve all of our clients in the state and as much as the Chesapeake Bay watershed as we possibly can. And we work together just to ensure that MES is here for the long haul. 56 years, another 50, and get to 100, and Mr. Coleman will still be on the board then. So anyway, just but I just wanted to update the board that I received some feedback. I tried to make sure I answered questions from the survey without talking about individuals or anything else. And my favorite line is that I put a quote of a person that doesn't believe that the survey is anonymous. So I read the quote and I read everything they said. And I also said, there's really nothing I can do with this quote other than acknowledge that I did read it. I read and highlight the survey and I go back to it and we try to find ways to improve the organization. So it was cathartic for me. I don't know if it was good for anyone else, but I got it off my chest and we're moving forward. Next slide. I hope that the board members really enjoyed the beautiful birds and the incredible nature at the Masonville Cove Nature Center and saw how well EDR runs that facility and the dredge material containment facility next door and that construction. It's located in South Baltimore for anyone that's never been there. It's open to the public. There's hours on the website. For those that couldn't make it, if you ever want to visit, board members, we can obviously arrange it. And it was a great morning. Next slide. So the next visit, hopefully some of you can make it. The chair loves the wastewater treatment plant, but unfortunately she's busy. This is great for me because it's one I haven't been to yet. So it's a smaller plant and we'll be there next week. I got it up on my phone. So, yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Although my eyes, I need my readers. June 1st.
June 2nd.
Oh, June 2nd, but RSVP by June 1st. And finally, I believe my last slide. So some new long-term projects. One of the ways that we've developed over the years is having project improvement teams or PITs. And out of the last strategic advance, Mr. Ingram, if you haven't met him, has been the leader of the KPI, looking at all of our training, primarily for our internal training universe. And so he's gotten more and more hits. He's got this straight line of how many people are participating in trainings. And we see the ones that we've loaded onto our intranet and how often people go back. But we've not really created MDOT was trying to do like MDOT University at one point while I was there. So we've not created how our university inside of MES. Anyway, I didn't come up with a name, delegated to deputy. There was no point of most of us being in there. So this will be her first pitch. She leads without me. And it'll be a learning lab of the ecosystem of all the stuff we have in our intranet and all of our systems. We did get up our Microsoft assistance page and we track it. We can, with the internet, you can track the hits. But there's a large group of teammates that are on this pit, and they'll be developing this ecosystem of how we can track it and how we can really have people. I believe they're going to connect people's job descriptions, even when they come in, to things they need to learn, and then move forward with how do we make sure that people are getting comfortable with their roles and that they're well trained. And the others are moving along, and we'll get back to you with more. And that, I believe, is my last slide. And somebody's on the phone. Next slide.
That's it.
And I want to do one final comment, Madam Chair. I have something very pithy written that Ms. Carroll will present at the walking path dedication. And I just want Mr. Coleman to know that it wasn't for one of my children, I would be there. So I really am proud of this. We'll make it, and we'll continuously improve the trail and all of its beautiful things along it, and make sure we get some pollinators back there and everything else. But have a great presentation. I hope they do a proper unveiling for you, Mr. Coleman. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Glass. Any questions for Dr. Glass? Okay, hearing none, we do have a new business report for your viewing pleasure. There are 2 pages of the chart, and as Ms. Fuller clicks through the slides, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Okay, and hearing none, we next up have Mr. Patel with our financial report. Mr. Patel, good morning.
Good morning. I heard from SPN Company that Monique will be presenting at 10 o'clock because she didn't know the exact time or she did not have the invitation. So I'm gonna finish this financial report in 12 minutes, and then you can decide which order you want to go forward. But she sent me a message that she'll be presenting at 10. Right. So here we have a total labor as of April 2026. Fiscal year 25 actually is 36.4 million. Fiscal year 26 is 38.7 million, which is 2.3 million higher than the fiscal year 25. The budget was at 37.9 million. So we are doing better this year than fiscal year 25 and the fiscal year 26 budget. So the total actual fiscal year 25 versus actual fiscal year 26 is 6.25% higher. We prepared the budget at a 4% expected labor increase. So it is higher 2.17% over the budget, which is a good news. Next slide, please. So overall, the financial position is good. There's nothing to be concerned about. Now we are already in May. These are as of April, and we expect that most of the expectations we show in the subsequent slides will be very close to it. So here we are comparing actual fiscal year 25 versus fiscal year 26 as of April. And the billable sales is 6.25% higher. The billable hours are 3.43% higher. And here, if you look at the overhead recovery, when the billable labor is higher, the overhead recovery will be higher. The overhead expenses for fiscal year 26 are higher than fiscal year 25. However, we budget the overhead expenses very generously. So if you look at the 10 months, it looks like, fiscal year 26 is trending higher. But in the next slide, when we compare with the budget, you will see that, it is significantly lower than the budgeted. The rest of the 10 months comparison, the increase in net assets for fiscal year 25 was 7.4, now it's 7.9 million. Revenues as of 10 months are significantly higher, 10.7 million. So what this translates to, I'll show you in the next slide, because the most important amounts, the numbers, after 10 months is how we are doing comparing to the budget. So we'll go to the next slide. So the budget full year was labor sales 45 million. We are estimating 46 million, almost 966,000 higher. As the billable labor increase, the overhead recovery is more, and we expect that there will be 344,000 more overhead recovery. The significant difference is in the overhead expense. We allow the budget to be budgeted for full staff, even the overhead staff. So anytime there's a vacancy, there is a budget savings, but the budget allows for the full staff for the overhead employees. Also, we give them, based on the consumer price index increase, 4%, 3%. Last year, I think it was 4%. Don't hold me to that. But now for fiscal year 27, we're gonna give 3%. Increase for every category in the overhead budget. So that's how the budgets are prepared. So based on those calculations, the overhead expense for fiscal year 26 budget is 17.9 million. The rate we are going, we expect that our overhead expense will be 15.3 million, a savings of 2.5 million. So that makes a big difference in our net earnings. That is the biggest contributor to our net earnings. The fringe, we expect that we'll have 889,000 variance, over the budgeted expenses, which may change because there will be certain items which will book it in June. I'll get to that in a minute when we go to the increase in net assets. The project variance and others are not significant, but if you look at it, the budget was prepared for increase in net assets of 4.5 million. That is usually our target. When we prepare the budget, we allow for everything, and then we try to see if we're gonna reach 4.5 million in net assets. The current year estimate is it will have 8.6 million. So out of this 8.6 million, there will be two major expenses. One will be the contingency fund. When the revenue increases, we have to increase the contingency fund because we are required to have a 5% of the last 3-year average as a contingency fund. So significant increase in this year's revenue will require to increase the contingency fund. The second expense will be the contribution to OPEB. In next month's meeting and in the HR committee meeting, we'll present, because we did a couple of studies for increasing the OPEB, and based on, the board recommendation, all that will increase the contribution to take care of enhanced benefits for the retirees. So those two expenses will come off from our 8.6 million. But in short, overall, we are doing financially well, and we are doing much better than the budget, and we will be able to have enough funding for OPEB and contingency fund. Any questions? Oh, thank you.
Okay, and I think there's one more
Oh,
slide.
yeah, I'm
Is this
sorry. This
you?
is a new one here. I'm sorry. All right. So last year in fiscal year 25, for almost 6 months, there was a PIT team for project improvement team for procurement processes. We came up with a recommendation to increase the use of procurement card. So if you see here, the red line is the purchase order issued. In July 2024, we were almost at over 1,000. It's consistently going down, and as of April 2026, the number of purchase order issued is 356, from over 1,000 to 356. One of the advantage of this is that we used to have 15, 20 purchase order every week, where we receive the invoices, but no purchase order was issued. So now it has drastically cut down. Most of the weeks we have a 0 or maybe 1 or 2. So that is the biggest advantage of it. There are no purchases made without the prior purchase order. On the other side, we have increased the use of the procurement card. And the procurement card transaction in July 24 was 670. In April 26 is 1,182, as shown in the table. So the procurement card transactions has increased. There are two advantages to that. The employees have more freedom, to purchase the parts when they need it, because our facilities are all over the state of Maryland. And we also get a rebate on all our spend for the purchase order transactions. There is enough controls built in there. The first review is done by finance, where every receipt is compared to the purchase in the Bank of America, US Bank credit card statement. And then the second review is done by the internal audit. So we haven't found any instances of fraud on increasing the purchasing card transaction so far. So this program is working out very well. Any questions? Now my presentation is over.
And why don't we go ahead and move on to the audit committee report? I believe Ms. Booker should be here with us shortly, but in the meantime, we can start this report. Ms. Joes?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, board members and MES staff. The audit committee met last week on May 21st. The SB and company presented the FY26 audit plan, which will be presented to the board shortly. We also had a resolution 26051R, the OPEB trustee agreement that Mr. Patel presented, and that was approved by the committee to be presented to the full board for consideration. And I don't know, Mr. Patel, if you want to present that now or you want to wait later.
I can discuss that now. So
Okay.
the resolution 26051R changes the OPEB trust agreement. Currently, Bank of New York Mellon is our trustee, and PNC is our financial advisor. We pay PNC fees for financial advising services. We pay fees to BNY Mellon to be a trustee. The only advantage was that was a separation, where PNC authorizes the trades, BNY Mellon executes those trades and hold the funds. In about a few months ago, now BNY Mellon decided that all of these trades has to be done through that portal. There's only one single portal, that's the MES accesses to that. So now we have to give PNC access to MES's portal because a customer can have only one portal. So it became very inconvenient to have PNC going to the same portal where we have the authorization solely to go to the portal. So PNC recommended that they have the trustee services also. We were approached by PNC almost for last 3 years to combine, because majority of their customers have combined services where PNC is the investment advisor and PNC is the trustee. PNC, the next slide, please. So PNC is very qualified to be the trustee. PNC is the custodian and investment manager for the MLGIP, which is Maryland Local Government Investment Pool, averaging 11.9 billion in short-term investment for 260 participating local governments. That contract was a request, RFP was issued by the state of Maryland, and it was approved by the state treasurer. So that gives the credibility that the state's money is going where PNC is a trustee. Also, PNC had two separate divisions. One will be the investment advisor, which we already have. The other one will be the custodian, where they have over $245 billion as a custodian for the trust. So PNC is very well qualified. Combining both of those will save us $10,000 because we are not paying double fees, which is not the major concern. It will give ease of trading to PNC because now with PNC doing both, they can complete the trades in 24 hours, which takes 3 to 7 days. We have BNY. Also, right now, we are reconciling two statements. One we get from PNC investment managers and one from BNY Mellon. Every month, finance reconciles both statements. So we will continue to do that. So it's just going to be two separate divisions of PNC. So we're going to continue doing that. Also, we give all the statements, every monthly statement to SB and company for the audit. So they review all that. So I believe this is an advantage for MES, and we have no disadvantages. Any questions?
Just one quick one. So we feel confident about the conflict of interest with those other entities all doing it. We don't have any feeling that someone externally would question if it's a conflict of interest.
Are you asking about this Maryland local government investment pool?
Yes, yeah, other agencies that are doing it.
Yeah, so what the state does, the state issued the RFP and selected PNC so that all these separate 260 small towns, municipalities and all that, they do not have to individually have the custodian. So that's one agreement. But we can probably join in there, but the advantage we want is the quick trading. So, going through them, we will not get that advantage. And we get a little more flexibility with PNC. We can reach PNC at any time, any day. And also we have the statements online so we can monitor, reconcile it. So going with the PNC, but through a separate agreement, individual agreement, which will be advantageous to us.
Thank you. That was my only question.
I move for approval of the resolution number 2605-1R.
I second.
Committee members, I get board members. The resolution has been moved by Dr. Johnson and seconded by Ms. Phillip. All in favor of approving the resolution, please raise your right hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the resolution is approved by the board. Thank you, Mr. Patel.
Thank you.
The next agenda on the audit committee was also the presentation of the internal audit report for the FY 27-28 audit plan, which was presented by Mr. Ryan Dowell. If we're still waiting on S&B, I think I'd like to call upon Mr. Dowell to give a synopsis to the board on the audit plan.
Thank you. Good morning. Since the last time the audit committee had met, we completed 4 audit projects. Those 4 audit projects were as follows: the Poplar Island Contract Management Review, the Midshore 2 Site Management Review, and the first quarterly P-card review, as well as the HR Compliance Telework Policy Review. The first 3 of those were issued with an effective opinion, and the last one, the HR Compliance Telework Policy, with a partially effective opinion, with, I believe, 4 audit findings that are currently being remediated by management. At the end of that remediation, we'll go back in and do our validation work. But those are the audits that we've completed. Next slide, please. We have 7 audit projects currently in flight. We can see them up here on the screen: the Biosolids Billing Review, the MES Retiree Medical Reimbursement Program, the Review of Safety Communication Implementation Project, Contracts Life Short-Term and Long-Term Disability Contract Review, the Workday Access Application Access Review, and the second and third quarterly P-card review. Currently in process of getting all of these finished potentially by the end of the year. Realistically, anything that isn't concluded will be rolled into the 27 audit plan, which is what we'll talk about next. This is a breakdown of the project, or of the auditable units in the 2027 audit plan. We have 150 hours for our annual risk assessment / audit planning process. We have 100 hours for our fraud hotline reviews, 350 hours for any special investigations, a bucket of 250 hours for any auxiliary projects, oversight of external audit projects, internal issue validation work, and then we have an external review that'll be coming up over internal audit, so some hours budgeted there as well. 2,500 hours for our consulting services. The large chunk of this is the billable work that we do outside of MES for different organizations. 1,200 hours for information systems. This will focus on the Workday Access application review, a cybersecurity review, which is a topical requirement by the IIA, and potentially looking at some AI implementations and access. The integrated project, we have 1,200 hours for this as well. There was a project from 2024 for procurement that was deferred due to a conflict of interest. That conflict of interest currently does not exist, so potentially looking at that, as well as some other procurement items. We have 150 hours budgeted for fiscal, which is our quarterly P-card review process. That should be fairly well defined at that point. So we're moving that towards more continuous monitoring than individual, like necessarily projects. So the hours are a little lower on that. We have 400 hours budgeted to a human resources project, potentially looking at HR benefits. Then we have 600 hours for operational projects budgeted for carryover projects from the 2027 plan that we didn't get to. For a total hours of 7,250 kind of planned hours. We also have hours that are outside of the plan for employee training, for employee time off, things along those lines as well. Move to the 28th, please. The 28 plan, again, we have a lot of the same things in the first 4 items, just kind of repeat from the previous, I guess, first 5 items. And then we also have a set of billable work for 2028 plan as well for 2,500 hours. And looking at the 1,200 hours for the third-party management review. Again, this is a topical requirement from the IA, something that we're supposed to look at. So I wanted to put some hours aside for that. Enterprise governance assessment, looking at the organization's policies and procedures, as well as the governmental or the governance established in the MES Act, and then taking a look at our operational COOP and how that is integrated throughout the organizations. Again, for a total plan of 7,250 hours, allowing for those administrative and training hours as well. Next slide, please.
Did we want to take a vote on the plan at this point, or did you want Mr. Dowdle to finish his report first?
That's up to the board members. If they have any questions on the audit plan first, I would like to raise that to the board members. Do you have any questions on the internal audit plan? I hear none. I do have a quick question, Mr. Dowell. If you could explain what happens. There's about 100 hours on the monitor fraud hotline and special investigation at 350. If that is not used, can you explain to the board what happens to those hours?
Yep, absolutely. We'll move any of those hours into a potentially additional project. Historically, we've seen that we've probably gone slightly over budget on our special investigations. Potentially, we'll have some left over from the fraud hotline. We haven't seen a whole lot of activity there. We'll roll those into another project, if applicable, or additional consulting work if applicable as well.
Thank you, Mr. Dowell. Board members, any questions? Hearing none. Ms. Fuller, do we have to vote on this now?
Yes, I think so. The audit committee recommended approval, but yes, the full board should vote on it.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the audit plan for FY28.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Potts. Do we have a second?
Second.
And that was Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Coleman. The motion has been seconded. All in favor of approving the FY28 audit plan, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed or hearing none? The motion has passed and the audit plan is approved by the board. Thank you, Mr. Dowell.
I think he had one more slide and then Ms. Fuller.
Yes.
That's just a quick question. Do we also need to approve the fiscal 27 plan? Because that was just an approval for 28.
The 27-28 plan is all one document.
But we didn't explicitly say that. The vote was specific to 28. So the vote could be
She's
amended
correct.
to include 27, or you need a separate vote.
Okay.
We can do a separate vote for FY27 just to keep it on the record. I'm looking for a motion to approve the FY27 internal audit plan as well.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Botts. The motion has been put forward by Mr. Botts. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Coleman has seconded the motion. All in favor of any questions? No questions. All in favor of approval of the FY 27 audit plan, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the FY 27 audit plan is approved by the full board. Mr. Dowell, your last slide.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My last slide talks about our billable project activity over the last period from from October 2025 through April 2026. We had 3 billable projects in flight during that period. The MDEM COVID closeout project wrapped up in January of 2026. We charged 381.5 hours for a billable revenue total of $22,584.99. That project wrapped up in January. The MDE Task 1 procurement, we charged 238 hours to that project, to that task for a total of $13,405.42 of revenue. And then the MDE Task 4 for fiscal, we charged 871 hours to that project, and we have billed $53,981.48 to that project.
Thank you, Mr. Dowell.
Thank you.
The next audit committee meeting is on October 22nd, 2026. I see Ms. Booker is online. The S&B audit plan was also presented to the audit committee, and it will be presented to the full board now. For that, I call upon Ms. Booker.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, I will share screen. I will not walk through the full report. I will highlight some items. We did have the opportunity to walk through the full report with the audit committee. Am I sharing screen?
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. Yep. So on May 21, we had the opportunity to walk through this presentation with the audit committee. So I just wanted to share with the overall board some of the highlights and what our plan is for the audit for the upcoming year. Monique Booker, I will continue as the engagement partner for the MES audit, and we have Christopher Mark, who will join the team as the engagement manager, and Graylin Smith will continue as our client service partner as well. So we will be completing the June 30, 26 financial statement audit. That would also include the compliance audit for the federal expenditures that MES has. Excuse me. And then there's also a schedule of indirect costs as well. And I think, just with last year starting the relationship again with MES, we're always available for questions, consultation, as management needs. We will continue to follow the key phases of our audit process. We have completed the planning process. We will be performing preliminary testing during the month of June, and then have our final fieldwork testing. So this is our timing schedule, which is pretty consistent with what it has been in the past. Last year. So as we, do our risk-based audit approach and our preliminary field work with a lot of our test of controls, and then once the year end is closed, we complete our final field work in that August-September frame and are prepared to report out in October to the audit committee and the board so that information can be provided to the state. So we expect that audit timing to be consistent for the 26 audit as well. Here, I would just highlight some of the audit areas that we expect to give focus on this year. Again, these are pretty consistent with what we've focused our audit on the past. These are the areas that we still deem to be the risk areas for MES, and we'll continue to, again, make sure cash and investments are properly valued. Spend quite a bit of time looking at your billing system and the receivables, both billed and your unbilled project cost, and making sure that things are being billed and recorded in accordance with the contracts that are that are in place, making sure the fixed assets of the organization are being recorded in accordance with your policy, looking at the liability side and making sure that appropriate accruals and obligations of the organization are included within there. And we do this for the primary fund, which is MES itself. You also have Midshore as a fund that's included in there. And then you also have your OPEB, other post-employment benefit accounting fund that's included in the overall financial statements. So we're looking at actuarial reports as it relates to your other post-employment benefit liability, looking at those assumptions that are being used. So that falls within our audit process. The same with the landfill closure estimate and post-closure costs that's included for the Midshore Fund as well. That falls within the audit areas that we bill particular procedures around. So know that that will be incorporated into our audit process. And probably the last thing I would want to share is, always there are new pronouncements that the Government Accounting Standard Board issues that we need to make sure that the financial statements and the accounting policies of MES are reflective of those new pronouncements. So there will be 2 that relates to fiscal year 27 that's coming up that we want to just, kind of make sure, we're prepared for, and that's your GASB 103 and 104 as it relates to financial reporting and certain capital asset disclosures. So we will work with management to make sure that you're prepared, to make any changes to financials or disclosures to be in accordance with those new pronouncements. And that will conclude my presentation. I can address any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Booker.
Okay.
I don't hear any questions. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we wish you all the best on this beautiful day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, are there any further questions for Ms. Joes or the audit committee? We took things a little out of order there, but hopefully we can get back on track. Okay, hearing none, I believe we are ready for Dr. Gross. Good morning, Dr. Gross.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We closed the month of April with a vacancy rate of 3.09%, which included welcoming 18 new team members, 17 specific to MES and 1 to CBT, and 14 team members departed the agency. Our current numbers are reflective of May 20th. Our overall vacancy rate being 3.29%. MES only is 3.47. When we are fully staffed, we will be at 851, including 807 for MES and 44 for CBT. We currently have 823 active employees, 779 are specific to MES. We are actively working on 28 vacancies with, we anticipate welcoming 9 new team members within the next week or 2, and we do not have any offers currently in process. Next slide, please. This just shows what the breakdown is of our head count by group. And even though we can see what the vacancies are per group, we know that we have all except for just a few that have really good activity against them, and the small few that don't have activity, we have an active plan that we're working with the groups on making sure that we get some movement. Next slide, please. We are excited that we're going to be welcoming our interns and fellows on June 1st. We have 10 interns who will be joining us. We already have 1 who's on board already, but we'll have 10 more joining, as well as 2 fellows. And there's a possibility that we'll be adding one co-op to the team as well. Next slide, please. During the month, we hosted or attended and participated in 11 events, of which 64% were diversity focused. Next slide, please. We are continuing to work on our compensation study. We're making really good progress, and we expect the final findings to be with us in the next week or so. We have closed the performance evaluation window as it relates to the actual carrying out of the or completing the reviews themselves of the entire population. 94% have been completed. Those that are not completed are reflective of individuals who may be on leave. And we're again working with managers to make sure that those are closed out timely as employees come back. We have completed 65% of the feedback discussions, and we're still monitoring that closely almost daily to make sure that those feedback discussions are had, because it is important that employees don't just see the evaluation, but that they have a conversation with their managers. An analysis showed that 98% of the employee population at MES either meets or exceeds expectations. Our policy review and recommendations are wrapping up in preparation for the upcoming HR committee meeting. And we have scheduled time with IT to continue to look at the process process automation options for the HR function. And absent any questions, that concludes the HR report.
Thank you, Dr. Gross. I'm not hearing any questions, so we can move on to procurement with Mr. Graham. Good morning, Mr. Graham.
Good morning, everybody. Environmental operations, Prince George's County Material Recovery Facility, awarded to Janus Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $247,406.83 with the MBE goal of 30%.
Is there a motion for procurement item number 1?
I move approval of procurement item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. And there's a second?
Second.
Any questions or items for discussion? All those in favor of approval of procurement item number 1, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Thank you. Number 2.
Environmental operations, Prince George's County Material Recovery Facility. Contract was awarded to CMC Services, Inc. Second renewal at $2,199,381.00, brings the revised total of $6,367,364.60 with the MBE goal of 30%.
Is there a motion to exercise the next option year for procurement item number 2?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Number 3.
Environmental operations, Montgomery County MRF and Montgomery County Grinding Lot contract was awarded to Earn Contractors, Inc. The second renewal is $1,310,282.15, brings the revised total of $3,847,842.15 with the MBE goal of 30%. to date, the participation is 19.86%.
Is there a motion to exercise the next option year for this contract?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. All those in favor of approval, please raise your right hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Number 4.
Environmental operations, Montgomery County Yard Trim Compost Facility. The contractor is General Protective Services Enterprise. The renewal amount is $167,615.50, bringing the revised total of $311,733.50 with a 0% MBE goal.
Is there a motion to exercise the first option year of this contract?
Move approval of item number 4.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I had one question.
Yes, Mr. Botts.
Why is the MBE participation for this 0?
Mr. Botts, you stole my question.
Sorry.
It's a very small contract. There's only a minimal number of people that are supplied for this contract, and so it's difficult to subcontract out additional opportunities. You look at the dollar amount, it's $167,000. When you take fringe and benefits on that, it's only 1 or 2 people.
But it does say 6,000 hours. Because that was why I was confused. Because of, right?
2080.
I think it was when I looked at this one compared to the last one, but okay. Thank you. I think you answered the question. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approval of procurement item number 4, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the ayes have it. Procurement item number 5.
Environmental operations, Brown Station Road landfills sales area C2 and 3 construction management services sale area C2 and 3 liner system awarded to Arm Group LLC in the amount of $710,545.13 with the MBE gold of 6.44%.
Is there a motion to approve procurement item number 5?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. Any questions?
I have a question. So
Please, Ms. Phillip.
I'm just curious, similar to the last question, how are the MBE goals set for this? It's just an odd number, so just curious about the number.
So how the percentage is set is based on the subcontracting opportunities. So if there's a lot of subcontracting opportunities, then you usually see a higher percentage of MBE goal. But when there's less, then it's kind of small, then it's smaller.
There is a calculation that's done. We look at the MDOT certified number of vendors based on SIC or NAIC code. And then so you have the dollar amount that you can subcontract out compared to the overall dollar value of the contract. And then you look at the number of potential MBE certified vendors on the MDOT list under that NAICS code.
That same MES
You
code.
arrive at the number, the percentage. That makes sense.
It does. I just am, it's generally, I'm not generally seeing one that's like a percent with the fraction in there. it's usually like a set number, like
We are-
6%
we
or
are an
7, but the
exacting organization.
6.44 is just odd. Okay, thank you.
Squeeze every dime we can out of it. That's right.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of awarding this contract to the Armed Group LLC, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the ayes have it. Number 6.
Environmental Dredging and Restoration Engineering Division, Masonville Dredging Material Containment Facility, dike raising to elevation +42, awarded to Allen Myers, Inc. In the amount of $15,388,877.00, the 24% MBE goal.
Is there a motion to award this dike raising contract to Allen Myers?
I move approval of item number 6.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Question?
Yep.
And yes, Secretary Flora, we have a question.
Yeah, this is large. It's the big one. So I'm just not, I want to make sure I understand it. This was a competitive bid process. How many bids did we get in?
2.
We only had 2. Okay. Have we worked with this group before? What's the track record?
Yes, we worked with them before. They did the initial raising to +30.
Okay. Okay. And that's been a successful and positive experience?
So far.
Okay. It's just so much money. I want to make sure we cover a couple bases here before we just jump on this one. And this has an MBE goal of 24%. So that's, that's good. What is the time frame, I guess, of when is this work? What are the performance metrics? What's the time frame for when this is to be completed?
Summer 2026.
Mhm.
And then the completion date is looking in 2028.
Okay. Are there any contingencies or issues or things that we need to be aware of in terms of the performance?
You mean from the last contract going into this contract?
Yeah, I'm just, okay, that's a 2-year construction. Lot can happen in 2 years, in terms of sort of how we approach the contract for some assurance, I guess. I mean, obviously there's bonding and all kinds of things associated with that, but, what type of impacts occur if they don't meet the schedule for reasons either in their control or not in their control?
So we have retainage included, and we also have liquidated damages that are included in our contract language.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Just didn't want to let this one pass without a few questions. So thank you. I assume all the due diligence has been done otherwise. I think I see another hand up out there, Madam Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Secretary. I had a lot of similar questions. The one thing that's just notable to me is the almost 4 million below the engineer's estimate. And my question is if there's any contingency there, because what's the change order process that could be built in? I'm assuming that they think they can do it for that price because they have prior knowledge from having done the work there before. But when I see like 4 million below the engineer's estimate, that is notable to me when the next bidder was about 800,000 above them. Just looking for some clarity there.
Bigger firm, so they can.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Allen Myers too also has their own trucking, I think, which assists in the cost. That doesn't increase the cost as much as say B&K's proposal. But there are change orders and contingencies that are built into our bid process as well.
And did they have any change orders in their first contract?
So there was an error that was made in their original build out of the design. However, there was a remedy that was fixed. As far as number of change orders, I'll have to go back and look and see how many change orders there were.
It just, that's just my concern. They're
recall
below
it
the
coming
engineer's
through right
estimate.
now, but I
If
don't-
they have a change order, then they end up above at 16,500, then we have a problem, I think. So that's why I'm asking, just to make sure I'm a little due diligence there. I don't know how that affects the process, but that's just, it gives me pause.
So if they have a change order, they go through RFI processes, you know, it has to be approved. I can't, you know, yeah, and then it comes back for approval to the board, if anything, as well as approval through Maryland Port Administration.
So I'll just write this in my
Not being
little
able to
notes.
foresee
So in
the-
case I see the change order, then I'll note it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have another question.
Yes.
Were there any bid protests on this procurement?
This one, no. Okay,
No.
that's business.
That's odd too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're holding our breath, that's for sure. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I think we've exhausted the questions. Thank you for all those questions. They were all very good, thoughtful questions. All those in favor of moving this item forward, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and the ayes have it. Number
Environmental dredging and restoration. Various Maryland Port Administration projects. The contractor is Guyana and Brian. Gahagan, okay.
You can say GBA.
All right. Gahagan and Bryant Associates, Inc. The third renewal is $2 million, brings the revised total of $12 million with an MBE goal of 29%. The participation date is 42.45%.
I
is
move,
there?
I move,
Yes, Ms. Phillip.
I move for procurement item 7, approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions?
I have no questions, but I do have a comment. So obviously when you see that much above the participation, that is incredibly encouraging. Do you monitor, maybe I do have a question. Do you monitor, because some contractors will do all of that up front or monitor over the course, or will you stop? So meaning if they do no MBE participation, does that create any pause in like your monitoring? So they've done 42.5, and then if for this next contract year, they do 0 subcontracting.
No, it's still monitored. It's
Okay,
still monitored.
great. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your moment.
Yes, absolutely. Was there a second?
Yes.
One second, and Mr. Coleman has a question.
Okay, excellent. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a question / comment, just that if you'll note, we approved option year 1 in November of 24. We approved option year 2 less than a year later, last September, and now we're less than a year and approving an additional option year. I just want to point out the contractor is really burning through the contract amount here. And does management have any comments about what will be the next step since this is the last option?
They're definitely burning through. MPA has a lot of construction projects going on right now that GBA is using, as well as Salute, who is their MBE, and a lot of geotech that goes along with it. That is all contracted under this RFP contract. On the Masonville plus 42, they did go through about 5 million, which on that contract, and MPA was alerted, and they know that in order to continue on into the future, that another RFP contract, which we've planned on putting out this summer. And we also have the AE shortlist to reach out if we need any Band-Aids like along the way for continuity of services.
Thank you. That answers my question.
That was a good question, a good catch, Mr. Coleman.
Missed it.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of exercising option year number 3, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Number 8.
Environmental dredging and restoration. Just, the innovative use facility site deployment, operations, and maintenance, AKA the settlement technology and reuse facility STAR. This is for contractor Carroll Independent Fuel Company with the change order number 4, which is $260,000. Brings the revised total of $570,000 with the statewide, but as being a statewide contract, the MBE goal is 35%.
Is there a motion to approve change order number 4?
Question?
Was there a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and I believe we have maybe a lot of questions on this one. Secretary Flora.
Yeah, it's probably the same question across the board. It's the MBE. I just want to be clear. So it says the statewide contract list, but then further down it says that there's no MBE goal required for the contract. So I'm a little confused. Does that mean that there is no MBE participation in this contract then, based on my read?
So because it's a state contract, we cannot, it's like double dipping. So we cannot set a MBE participation on a statewide contract, which they already have a percentage on. So that's why we say there's no MBE from MES's perspective. We don't have a requirement from them, but because it's a state contract, we cannot use their percentage.
Okay, it's a state contract or a statewide? I'm still a little, help me out
So
here.
it's a Maryland state contract.
Okay, so who's the contract with?
Yeah. So we're piggybacking off of them. So this is like a purchase order.
But who's the actual contract with? Who within the state of Maryland?
Does the whole DGS?
So DGS. Okay, so the contract's with DGS. And this is a subcontract to that, or a purchase order off from that main contract? Is that how that works?
So we're allowed, all Maryland state agencies are allowed to piggyback off all DGS's contracts. And so this is one that we don't have to, we are using the state reduction of this contract, of the contract they have in place already.
Okay, thank you. I'm just not familiar with that process, so I was confused by how that all works. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And are there other questions?
Are we looking at procurement item 8?
Yes.
I might be seeing something weird. So my question is about the change orders, are like the dates. So I see 3 change orders, but I only see the date for change order 3. Am I reading this right?
I believe so. To me, it seems as though we probably approved it last June. And then there were 2 other change orders, with the third one being in March. Maybe somebody from procurement can illuminate when were change order 1 and 2 approved?
I can answer that. So because of our, you know, if it's the $200,000, it has to be brought to the board. The change order 1 and change order 2 was below that threshold. Right, and so that's why change order number 3 was brought to the board for approval. Because it reached that 200,000, over 200,000 threshold that has to be brought to
It's
the board.
over 200,000 over for the entire contract, not 200,000 for a single procurement. I'm just noting that change order 1 and 2 were 60,000, 3 was 115, and now we're 2 months later and it's 260.
Yeah. Fuel prices.
Yeah.
And that was what I was checking. Is this like the
Yeah.
reflected fuel price change?
It was fuel prices along with, we did get a larger generator as well out there, and also the extension of time we need to get the electricity actually hooked up. There's been some hurdles from this city's approval, Baltimore City approval, with putting 1 telephone pole in the critical area that already exists there to get service to the site. There may be another option that we're going to be exercising with BGE that could move a little bit quicker. However, this is extending out to make sure we have fuel operations into 6 to 8 months in the hopes that we have electricity within that time to the site. And when we came in for the change order on 3/26, the diesel fuel prices were around $4.30 $4.30 a gallon, and now they're about $5.30, $5.40, a gallon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that
it's
helps.
fast.
Got it. Thank you. That's helpful.
So we're the change orders are coming in based on the amount of fuel we're anticipating needing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the current.
Okay.
And the rentals, yes, that's correct.
And the change in price.
Other
Right.
questions? Okay, hearing none, we do have a motion on the floor to approve the change order number 4 to the Carroll Independent Fuel Company Incorporated contract. All those in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the ayes have it. Number 9.
Water wastewater engineering division. New Germany State Park, water wastewater system upgrade. Was awarded to Carl Belt for $12,113,156.75 with an 8% MBE goal.
Okay, is there a motion to approve Carl Belt Incorporated in the amount listed?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. Questions, comments, items for discussion?
I have a question. So, when I see things at $5,000 separate, then I'm always concerned that did the person with the call belt forget something that others didn't pick up, the others did pick up. So was there a second look at it to make sure that there was not something left out, or?
I can answer that. We did look closely at the bid tabulation with the engineering firm to make sure that everything was accounted for. And it was actually a little bit higher than the engineer's cost estimate, so we made sure that it was understandable, and I think that was due to some of the increases in costs with tariffs and other things. So we did evaluate the full cost estimate.
Okay, other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of awarding the New Germany State Park Water and Wastewater System upgrade to Carl Belt Incorporated, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. And last but not least, Mr. Graham, number 10.
Water wastewater engineering division, our POW, water wastewater treatment plant upgrade design, was awarded to Waltech. And the amount of $350,167.00 with the MBE goal of 29%.
Is there a motion for procurement item number 10?
Move approval of item number 10.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. I know I have one question, which is not substantive to the actual approval, but where is this?
This is near Hagerstown. It's actually a really cool site to visit. It has a natural spring on the right that feeds the aquacultures, and they raise fish there. They're a really cool place to visit.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So I have a question. This is an industrial facility then for the fish waste?
Yes, for the fish waste only, not, yes. And the
Excellent.
aquacultures are being upgraded by DNR. I believe that work is starting this summer. And then the new clarifier and new wastewater treatment plant will go after that construction is complete.
Okay, that's fascinating. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of awarding the Albert Powell wastewater treatment plant upgrade design to Waytech, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the ayes have it. We have completed the procurement items. Next up, we have procurement notifications, which are contracts, purchase orders, amendments to change orders between 25 and 200,000. Feel free to peruse those. I believe we have 2 pages, and ask any questions that you may have. Actually, there's more than 2 pages. There are 4 pages.
Four slides.
Okay, and hearing no questions, we are ready for the legal report with Ms. Carroll.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Carroll.
And the members of the board. I don't have a report per se for the open session. We are going to have a closed session discussion, but I did want to briefly revisit Ms. Phillips' question about the conflict of interest related to PNC Bank serving as both the trustee and investment manager of the OPEB funds. And the finance department did ask our office to look at that, potential conflicts question. And we looked at it and felt like there was not going to be a conflict, but we wanted, because the area of law related to employee benefit funds and things like that, other post-employment benefits, which the OPEB fund is a very specialized area of law. We wanted to make sure that it was properly legally vetted. So the Office of the Attorney General engaged specialized counsel to look at the question. And so counsel did provide an opinion that there is no per se conflict, and provided some guidance of things to keep in mind going forward to prevent potential conflicts and concerns for the fiduciary. So we felt very comfortable providing MES the guidance that it was okay to have PNC serve in both roles. And we're, further comforted by the fact that other state agencies are also using PNC to do that. So we feel like PNC's controls are being vetted on a regular basis by other state agencies as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I appreciate your additional information.
As do I. Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Do we have any old business? New business? Okay. A couple of announcements. The next meetings on our radar are the Human Resources Committee meeting, which is June 18th, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. And our next board meeting is June 25th, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. We will be going into closed session and we will be adjourning the meeting from the closed session. We will not reconvene in open session today. The closed session portion of the meeting will be closed under General Provisions Article Section 3-305, Section B, 7, and 8, to consult with counsel, to obtain legal advice, and to consult with staff, consultants, and other individuals about pending or potential litigation. If anyone objects to the closing of the meeting, please contact MES and the website is listed, www.menv.com/contact-us. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I move we go into closed session for the reasons stated.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. All those in favor of going into closed session, please raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and the ayes have it. Are we going to reconvene immediately or what?